As China grapples with the coronavirus, the economic damage is mounting across the globe. With over 70,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in China alone, the coronavirus or COVID-19, which emanated from Wuhan, China last December, is spreading around the world. The epidemic is wreaking havoc on global supply chains and fast depleting company profits. Businesses are struggling with lost revenue and disrupted supply chains due to China's factory shutdowns, delivery delays, or outright cancellations. Tens of millions of people remain in lockdown in dozens of cities, with countries imposing travel restrictions. China is the world's second largest economy and leading trading nation with most countries across the globe, including Nigeria.
China is one of the is basically number one production center, hub center for everything that you manufacture, be it anything, parts, electrical, anything, building material. So with most of the plants in China being shut down, it means that we are living off of the savings of products.
Global economy is interwoven, and if you stop one of the chains, it will trigger the stoppage of the entire chain. The problem is that over 50% of what the world consumes actually are made in China. So they have to move from China to around the world. Now that Chinese economy is shut down, that means that about 50% of goods and services that come from China and spread around the world are actually shut down.
China's overall GDP growth may also slow by 0.5 percentage points in 2020, which by implication means a 0.1 percentage point drop in global GDP growth. Economic surveys expect a slump in China's economy to the tune of 4.5% in the first quarter of 2020, down from 6% in the previous quarter, the slowest pace since the financial crisis.
So naturally, investors will naturally panic and start to withdraw and sell off. They will rather want to be in a cash position than to see their stock go down. So those are the things that will happen. So those are natural phenomena that will take place with what we're seeing.
The effect is not being seen now, but we're going to see the effect 3 or 4 months later, because some companies have some goods and services, some goods kept in their warehouses and things like that. But when you see this in dropping, then you see the effect.
Stock markets across the globe have received shockwaves as a result of the ripple effect of the COVID-19, as most companies base their manufacturing in China. Travels and tours have also been hit by the virus scare, as global airline revenues are expected to fall by $4 to $6 billion in the first quarter of 2020 as a result of flight cancellations. Petrodollars is expected to get a negative shock as China remains one of the biggest consumers of petroleum, and the effect will be more felt among the OPEC nations, including Nigeria. The IMF had predicted a further blow to 21 African countries which are resource dependent. A slowing Chinese economy had already hit trade between Africa and China, which grew 2.2% in 2019 to about $208.7 billion compared with the earlier 20% rise.
It's also an opportunity for Nigeria to maybe look inwards for the central bank and the banking system to look for ways to encourage middle-class businesses and turn us into a manufacturing economy.
The global economy is going to be worse off than what happened in 2008, unless something drastic is done as quickly as possible. But the panic cannot just be resolved within a short period of time.
According to Oxford economists, the coronavirus could cost the global economy over $1 trillion in lost output if it turns to be a pandemic. They noted that if the pandemic spreads largely outside Asia, it would knock off 1.3% of global growth in 2020 alone.